Welcome to ELA on the Move. This time we are analyzing Barter by Sara Teasdale. It is written in 1918 when she won the Pulitzer. Let's take a look at the theme. And don't be afraid to experience life to its fullest. Good things in life are not free. If you know Sarah's past, if you look up her biography, you'll learn much about her and the sad endings she had in life. But once you know her past, it kind of helps you understand the poem a little bit more. You know, you give up one thing for another in life. So take a look at that and see if that doesn't explain a lot with the poem. She has a tendency to write a lot of poems that focus on life and sometimes even sad parts of life, or what you could do instead. So YOLO is kind of where we're going with this. You know, you only live once, seize the day. There is kind of a disclaimer, a but in that. You know, a lot of people with YOLO take it a little too far. So, but in a sense, it does mean the same thing. You know, live everything to the fullest. Good things are not always free, though. You give up something for something else. So taking that theme, keep that in the back of your mind when we start looking at the figurative language that goes along with this poem. And then in the end, when we discover the ending, you know, you come to the conclusion that someone who cares enough invests in you, those life experiences, those milestones. So take that with you. You know, invest in others. All right, we'll also take a look at the tone as well. So as you're reading this poem, if you took a moment to pause and look up her biography, just remember her life tells very much a significant amount of where this poem might have come from. Figurative language. We will have alliteration inside the poem, repetition. You'll see a great amount of imagery. It's very vibrant, very descriptive of those life milestones, nature, human experience, not really objects. It focuses more on those life images that come to mind. Similes, personification. And then, like I said before, we will also visit tone a bit because it's important with the way she went about it in comparison to the way Edgar Allan Poe went about the poem Bells, where the tone changes through the poem. That's an easy one to see the changes. Once you see them inside this poem, they start to stand out for you, and we'll take a look at that. Let's take a second. We'll look at the rhyme scheme, A, B, C, B, D, D, and point that out. Make sure that you're aware of that. Like many poems, they tend to flow together, and since this has a repeating pattern, you can feel the flow as you go. The sights, the sounds, experiences in life that you feel. And so those are felt inside the rhyme scheme. They help create that flow. Right, let's start with our figurative language. First up, let's look at alliteration. You'll find over in line 4, the soaring fire that sways and sings. Several spots where they start to hit with the S's stands out really well. Look at the repetition for line 1 and in the second stanza, line 7, and then again in line 13. Life has loveliness to sell is the same in line 1 and line 7 with the second stanza, but take a look at the third stanza and notice that it changes just a bit. Spend all you have for loveliness. Why is it different this time? Why does it change from has it to sell? Now you want to spend all you have for loveliness. We'll come back and we'll analyze tone, and just keep in mind that line when we get to that the tone is important there. Next up, let's look at the imagery that's all throughout the poem. Everything from all these things that describe life. Look at that first stanza. Life has a loveliness to sell. All beautiful and splendid things. Blue waves whitened on a cliff. Right? That descriptive way that's shown. The image it brings to your mind. The soaring fire that sings. Those children's faces that you start to see inside your mind. In the second stanza, you have music curved like a gold. You start to kind of put pictures in your mind. You're analyzing the music. You're analyzing the gold. You're creating those images, trying to find where her meaning is. Pine trees, you picture those. They come to mind. And then you reach into the spirit, still delight, and you start to figure out, where is she going with this? How are we bringing religion into this? And then finally, you look at that last stanza for one white singing hour of peace and breath of ecstasy. All these images come to mind. Look at the simile on line 6, holding wonder like a cup, right? You picture it, holding it, that like. Line 8, music like a curve of gold. And then lastly, the personification that you find on line 6, where it's holding like a cup. And line 7, life has a loveliness to sell. Life being personified. And then the children's faces being personified, holding wonder like a cup. Look at the tone. It's got that jovial, determined feel about it going. Yet, she feels jilted. She feels wrong. She feels like she's been shorted something in life. She had to give up something to have something else that goes with that theme. But go back. We want evidence of that tone. We want to be able to prove that. Let's find those tone words and where they lead. If we go with that jovial feeling, that happy feeling, you find the word loveliness and splendid and beautiful and sings. That fire could be doing something damaging or destroying, but it's singing here. The faces are looking up. They're holding wonder. They're not holding something of fear or anything. They're holding wonder. The second stanza, loveliness. The music is like a curve, doesn't indicate negative. Pine trees. The scent brings a pleasant feel to your mind. Love, holy thoughts, being held, delight. And then we look at the last stanza where there's kind of a change, kind of a turn. It's got loveliness in the first line, but if you look at the line again, spend all you have indicates kind of not a negative, but whoa, spend all you have, spend everything. Whoa, it kind of, you freeze and you think for a second. It has the word negative, negative words, never in there. It has the word cost. You're giving all you could be. There's a change in the tone. Something you feel like there's like a boomerang, like you're going, whoa, come back. What are you meaning by this? We were going with this loveliness theme, and then all of a sudden she's pointing out, never count the cost. Go for it. Do it. YOLO, live life, seize the day, for that line where it says, line 14, buy it and never count the cost. Like many poems, you get to see where that tone changes and you feel that tone change. Just like in a song where it starts out one way and it ends with sending a message other than what you thought it might mean. It shifts. So keep that in the back of your mind. Also, you want to take a look straight down the middle, right after the line, scent of pines in the rain. Things start to change a little bit. Now keep your eye on that. It's more personal in the second half of the poem. You start to feel like she's taking digs on something, and you start to pay attention to that. This is where it gets personal for the author. She's trying to tell you something. Does it fit with her life? That's a good question. But like many poets and writers, quite often they're writing something that's personal in their life based on personal experience. All right, let's now take a look at some of the lines. You look at line 4 where fire's danger, but it's wonderful. It's a beautiful part of life. You make mistakes, you get messy. It's just a part of life. You know, all of these lines in lines 1 through 4, they're experiences. They bring you joy. They're life milestones. You know, having children, it's compared to nature and human experience. Look at those. Take a close look at that. Look over at line 16. You don't sweat the small stuff. Trivial little things don't mean that much. Count many a year of strife well lost. But don't be a Scrooge with life. Live it to the fullest. That YOLO, once again, that seize the day, coming out inside of her poem. You want to relate this to your own life experiences, your own milestones. And, you know, are you bartering things, good things in life, to be able to have something else? Like I said, if you go back and you research her life, she gave up something in her life that was a treasure, and many assume that maybe she's writing about that treasure she lost. Right? Going back to that theme, now let's take a look at the paired text that might go along with this. If you've ever seen the movie Dead Poet Society, there is a scene near the beginning where he actually quotes this poem, and it fits with the same theme. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. It's the poem To the Virgins, To Make Much of Time by Herrick. Take a look at that. It's a great comparison to, you know, seizing the day, to holding on to what is important to you and important in life. And he does an excellent job inside that scene of portraying that. Take a look at Kate Chopin's story of an hour, the story of an hour. Excellent twist ending, where it analyzes the idea that we should live life to the fullest, and when we get to the end, did we or did we not? So now we come to the conclusion of, you know, what she meant by barter. YOLO, seize the day. But remember that strong but. YOLO at all cost. You know, a lot of people go back and go, well, maybe I should have. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you found this video helpful, hit like, hit subscribe to help students and teachers out as well. Teachers helping teachers out.